I'm virtually here.
Oh, yeah, and they're breathing, and you're here for real, okay? This is reality.
We didn't say
Wake up.
barely, we said virtually.
Okay, good afternoon. I don't know if Ron will be here or not. I see Abe and Julie are virtual, and we have a new member there, Chris Kelly. Hello, Chris, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna call the meeting to order, and I think I'll do first. So everybody's been appointed, so we have absolutely more than a quorum for a change. And so the first thing I'm going to check off, which is official business, is the approval of the minutes for March 19th. Are we all, any additions, deletions, or corrections? There being none, can I hear a motion?
So moved.
Julie?
I'll second.
Abe, thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Done. Thank you very, very much. Now, we have some new members to the council who now have an absolute full complement. So hopefully there'll never be a time when we're in jeopardy of having a quorum. But things happen. And since we can join virtually, I'd rather see your happy, smiling faces here, but virtual is great. It's really good focus. So, and everybody happens to be from Ulster County. And you know, that's where New Paltz is. But we have a wide range because we serve the state and it's a state appointment. So the governor had the good insight to keep things local. And so before I go, I'm going to ask for maybe, I think I would go round robin and go the opposite way and then get the new members circled back. So I'm sure President, I think he's known by everybody. Just say hi, okay?
Hi.
A lot to say because there'll be a report, but I'm going to defer the report to later. And Kamla's here, he's going to be on for a little while because he's going to be graduating, right?
Yes.
And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Kamlesh Bral. I'm president of the Student Association. I'm from Nepal. I'm an international student. I came here 5 years ago. So I was at SUNY Ulster and I transferred to SUNY New Paltz. And yes, so I'm graduating this May. Glad to be here. Thank you.
And are you going to be here for graduate school? No? Yes, don't know.
No, yeah, I'm going to the law school afterwards.
Good for you.
Yeah, and I'm a history major. Yeah.
Of course. Good.
So I was about to.
Everybody's an absolute full complement. I can't, well, I'm a certain age, I can't remember like my social security number, but I can't remember when there was a full complement of the council here. So great. It's all great. And we're just going to do a round robin. And Eleanor, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hi. Well, I've been a member since 1998. And I'm happy to be a member. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, yeah. And you're like real local because you're New Paltz, right?
I live in Gardner,
Gardner. Okay.
6 miles away.
Okay. Next door. Okay. Bill?
My name is Bill McClure. I'm the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs here at SUNY New Paltz. I'm finishing up my 3rd year now. And tell people where we live. I live in Ulster Park.
Provost? So happy to be here. And who runs the buildings? Hello?
Hi, Scott Klein, Vice President for Operations. I've been here 2 years. This is my 1st year, finishing up the 1st year is this.
And runs the show.
If it's broken, it's because of.
Well, but who runs the show?
Yes, that's true.
No,
Yes.
so VP for Communication and Chief of Staff. I've been here for
A while.
Hi.
Money.
Greg Reed, CFO, VP of Strategy Management, a little over 2 months in and live close.
Jonathan Vaughn, I am Interim Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations. I've been here 7.5 years and I live in New Paltz.
Hi, I'm Stella Turk. I'm Vice President for Enrollment Management. I've been at New Paltz for 32 years. Hard to believe since I'm only 40. And in this current position for 3 years. And I'm sorry, but I live in Dutchess County, so forgive me. Good afternoon. I'm Shirley Smith Rodriguez. I am the Assistant Vice President for Student Engagement. I've been here for 4 months now, and I'm actually from Westchester County.
Hannah Pacheco Dunn. I am Vice President for Human Resources, Diversity and Inclusion and Chief Diversity Officer. Been here since 2012, and I am an Orange County resident.
Renee Scott Childress. I'm the presiding officer of the Faculty Senate. I teach in the History Department, and I've been here 20 years.
Okay, so now we have Neil to say, we have absolute full complement. But he's a new shots.
Sorry, I'm late. I'm one of the voting members on the council. I had another meeting that ended at 3, so I apologize. I think I've been on the council for maybe at least 4 or 5 years now. And
Okay, now I'm going to go to the virtuals. So I think I'll go Abe.
Hi, my name is Abe. I, like many, am also based in Kingston. I serve on the Ulster County Legislature, and I'm a graduate of SUNY New Paltz, 2010 political science.
And Julie.
Julie Noble. I'm Sustainability Project Manager for the City of Kingston. I've been on the council for 5 years. I am a Binghamton alumni.
And Renee, I can see you there. You're a little out of focus, but good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon. Oh, sorry. I'm using 2 computers here. I'm sorry. My name is Renee Padmore Backus. I am a 1991 SUNY New Paltz alumni. I've served as the alumni president, and I am presently on the alumni council. I have served on this committee. I can't remember how long, maybe 3 years. I lost count. I've always been in service. So I'm happy to be here. Congratulations to those that have come, and welcome to the team.
Thank you. Now I'm going to jump to Ron. Ron has probably got the longest legs here at New Paltz.
Hi, Ron Law. I'm a 1974 graduate of New Paltz, and have been very active with the college. I was on the foundation board and then switched over to the council board. And when people are not happy with President Wheeler, they yell at me.
You that a lot, don't you?
Yes. I say that because I was the chair of the committee that brought this illustrious person to the campus.
And he takes pride in authorship every opportunity he gets. Okay, and now let's see. And I'm Eli Bosch. Okay, we're going to go to the new ones in a second. Okay, and so I'm Eli Bosch. I have some affiliation with New Paltz. I've been right through the foundation. They recycled me 2 or 3 times, et cetera. I'm recycled here on the council. I was on the council back in I think 1991 was my first appointment. It did, I don't know, 10 years or something. I've been recycled. And I'm a proponent of public education, and the foundation of it is right here. It's SUNY New Paltz for our county, for the Mid-Hudson Valley, or for the state. And I enjoy being here to help, and as everybody does, so I really appreciate it. Now we have 3 new members joining up. They're here. Well, one is almost here. So we have Chris Kelly, where are you now, Chris?
Good afternoon. I am actually in Newburgh at one of our community center hubs for RUPCO. So my name is Chris Kelly, Vice President of Portfolio Management for RUPCO. I came here 2.5 years ago after about 17 years in state and local government. And it's nice to see a lot of faces I've worked with on a lot of different capacities here. So grateful to be here.
Well, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. It's New Paltz is a great place, and I say we all get a little bit of stardust when we're affiliated. And so please attend the meetings. Okay. And now let's see, Danielle, I know your family.
Now you know me too, and that's better than my family.
we are live stream.
But embarrassed.
So I'm Danielle Mass. I'm obviously new to the council, super excited to be here. I'm resident of Kingston, but spent a lot of time in New Paltz. I work at the Bridge Authority running security, safety, and operations. So it's nice to hear a bunch of you who live in different counties use our facilities and our bridges. It's great. I too break a lot of buildings, so I feel like we'll be having a lot of conversations. And super excited to be here.
Thank you. Welcome. And Deb?
Debbie Briggs, today's also my first day. I am almost retired as an administrator at Ellenville Hospital. Trying to retire December 31st, but I'm still there, but I'm getting there. And I just served a 7-year stint on the SUNY Ulster Board, the last 3 as chair. That's where I met President Wheeler, and I'm very happy to try to work on,
What do we say?
and in the county collaborative. This was my idea. Start there and here. That's that first time I met him. I have an idea for you. So very happy to be able to kind of learn from a 4-year experience.
Well, welcome. It gives us, all some help and assistance, and also the community, yeah, do you know each other?
We've met before at SUNY Ulster. Yes.
Foundation thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And you'll meet again, because when you soon to be an alum, you're going to get back in. You can stay active, right?
Forever.
And why wouldn't you?
Yes.
That's such a great place to be. So I really appreciate you all, and gives you opportunity to support the university. And it's really very selfish because we all benefit from New Paltz in so many ways, and it gives you the opportunity to support and give back. And it's public education, first step up, and here we are. And we can find out how things are from the president. Could you give us a report, please?
My pleasure. Before we do that, I'd like Liz to introduce herself because you are in the room, and so people should know who you are.
Hello, I'm Liz Pyatt. I am Shelley Wright's administrative assistant, and I'm the one that bombards you with emails when you need to know of a meeting or anything happening on campus.
And I'll just you got to bug me,
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So a hearty welcome to our new members. It's a joy to have you on board. Chris, I look forward to meeting you in physical person. And thank you for coming back. Our continuing members, I won't say old because we have HR in the room. But our continuing members, and certainly appreciate and thank you for the staff, our vice presidents, interim vice presidents who are in the room, and our student. And we're thankful you joined us, and congratulations on what will happen after this.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna pick up on a theme that is everywhere on campus: events, and events. If you haven't seen an email about an event, we will have emails in your box about events before you leave here today. This is the season that never stops. Yesterday, we honored inductees into the EOP Honor Society. Last week, we had the inaugural induction of transfer students into the newly formulated Transfer Student Honor Society. And I understand there's 300 students who are eligible, transfer students for the Honor Society, which is a significant number and speaks to the quality and caliber of the students. So again, the start there, finish here is really important for us. We have the senior toast next week on the 14th. And I'm saying all of these to make sure that if there are things you want to attend, we want you there. So senior toast next week on the 14th, and then commencement ceremonies, graduate ceremony on Friday in the evening. And then we have 9 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. The undergrad ceremonies. On Saturday, it's the baccalaureate ceremony for our School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and on Sunday for all the other 4 schools. So if you're able, even if you didn't order your regalia and all of a sudden you just get this hankering and you're like, your day in life is not going to be complete if you don't just wander down to the campus. There is a place for you here on the campus. So look forward to that. We're already knee-deep or more into fall enrollment activities. So Stella and her team in enrollment management have held 2 recent
Newly accepted open house days, phenomenal. There were March 21st and April 18th, each had somewhere north of 400 students plus their families on campus. So this is our big yield season. And now we go from yield to melt prevention. And so I emphasize it because as you'll hear from Greg, who is our CFO, why enrollment is so essential to the lifeblood and experience of SUNY New Paltz. Not just because that's why we're here by charter, but because tuition drives our ability to stay in operation. And increasingly so, the relationship between tuition and operations and ability to meet our bills has taken over higher ed's landscape. At some point, you'll hear from, if not today, at others. I point to Jonathan, who leads our development office. SUNY New Paltz is in the silent phase of our comprehensive campaign. This is the second comprehensive campaign that SUNY New Paltz has done. We set a goal. I don't know if we're not public with it yet, but let me just say it is greater than our prior goal, which was our last one was
23 million.
It was 23 million, which we exceeded. We set a new goal that was higher than that. And last year, the consultant said, kick up that goal by $10 million, you'll make it. So we are planning an event in October, and I would encourage every continuing board member to mark your calendars now. The weekend of October 15th is not only alumni reunion weekend, but it will be the official launch of our public phase of our comprehensive campaign. Jonathan and his team will have more information out, but that entire weekend is full of events from Thursday probably beginning right through Sunday. So there are many, many opportunities. And I believe, Jonathan, our launch is planned for Friday, but I don't want people to lock Friday in yet until you announce it. So it's an exciting period for us. As the second campaign, we are very pleased with where we're headed now. We just created this past week the faculty and staff with a kickoff event for a board of just faculty and staff members who will be very instrumental. We have our campaign co-chairs. We have the campaign committee, yes, who is on Eli, right? Who is one of our coach. Go ahead.
Eli's one of 4 co-chairs that are leading the campaign. So thank you.
Absolutely. Leading.
That shouldn't affect you in any way. Just keep your arms close because they're going to be arm twisting. Only kidding. But really, the lifeblood of the university, especially is, fundraising. I mean, interrupt, but when I was first on the foundation, I think the foundation had hundreds of thousands, not a million. And it started from nothing because of the evolution of the state university and a prohibition for having to raise money. They were not allowed. It was a public university, period. And then so they offered it with a foundation to be the conduit to accept donations and began from the ground floor. And it's been a real climb up to where we are now, which is incredible, but it was not easy because of the culture of it being state university, no philanthropic support really, and it's gone upside down now. Of course, and I should digress, but the tuition is really the lifeblood of the university, and the tuition is what we need. We're going to hear later, about where we are budgetarily, and the problem is always tuition, because tuition has not been increased in, I think it's 13 years. And in just 5 years, everything has doubled. In the last 5 years, everything basically has doubled. So to go back that far without any increase at all, is just a constriction on the resources to support university. And so it's always something politically to think about, because tuition is driven by politics. It's the politics of it. And frankly, at Albany, and I'm sorry, but I'm involved, and I got involved in the foundation and saw how it's grown, and it grows and grows and grows. And we're here to support the university, make it better. And the lifeblood isn't just the students, it's the resources and money to support. And so the foundation supports scholarships and enhancements to the faculty, and other things that aren't directly paid for either by the state or by tuition in many ways. So, so just keep that in the back of your mind, and you can loosen up your arms and, don't be, it's a teaser for October. Just a teaser, okay?
But I just want you to have those dates because
And I appreciate it.
absolutely. Alumni Weekend is a phenomenal weekend for tons of activities. But this year will be particularly special because not only do we have Alumni Weekend, we have the announcement of the the public phase of the comprehensive campaign. But many of you are aware that the Sojourner Truth statues and that was created has gone to Kingston City Hall. It went to Ulster County County Building. It is now in Newburgh. It will come home, and we plan to have it come home that weekend for her installment in front of the Sojourner Truth Library. And then hopefully there's one other event that we will add to this, which is the beginning of the contemplative space that two of our colleagues have in the room I know have known about and been very instrumental with. And we hope that that space that honors the experiences and traditions of indigenous communities, formerly enslaved Africans and others who had been enslaved, and European settlers who created much of what we stand on is this land and the experience with both the good and the bad opportunities and experiences that they had. So all of that's going to be folded into a weekend where we have hundreds, if not thousands, of alum return to campus. Just want to say that on commencement, we have nearly 1,900 students graduated. So it's a full house. I'm really excited about that. Operations, we won't have a deep dive on operations, but I can surely say to you, not only does Scott Klein fix it when it's broken, but he's there to help us navigate like things like just planning for space. And we're waiting on finals on the state budget, which has not been released. And then there'll be several weeks after that before SUNY knows what its plans are. But we have two major facilities projects that we would hope one, if not both, would be funded. One of them is College Hall, in the place where College Hall is, because one of the needs we identified years ago is mid-sized classrooms. So we would replace College Shangle Complex, which is near and dear to many, but it is just, you can't remodel it. It's built in 1955, and the footprint has been added to over many years, and it's asbestos laden, and so I can go on and on. So there's nothing you can do but take it out and then raise it, and we'll put it if it's approved. And then the other is our Sojourner Truth Library. It was built in 1964, I believe, somewhere thereabouts, and it has the original HVAC system. Yeah, exactly. So we've prioritized that. And Scott, we have an estimated cost of that to be what?
50 million.
50 million for the HVAC system. That's why, and as you can well understand, the lifeblood of an academic institution is its library.
Yeah.
If you don't have a library, you can't function as a higher ed. And if we weren't already aware of that, a week and a half ago, all heck broke loose and no heat was going to the library. And we had to make the library a shell for these last 2 weeks in order that people not work, and I point to HRDI, in situations where it was out of regulation for them to be working there because the temperature dropped below 64 degrees in the building. So these sensitivities I particularly make known to our newer board members, because I'm trying to go through a list of things that you'll hear about at various points and to have a context for them. So our operations in those two major projects are very high on our list of activities. Yes, sir.
And for students, it has been tough because it's close to the finals and we don't have the space. We do have other spaces, but like library for the students is very much
correct.
We
have kept all of the operations going, but in doing that, they're not done in the place where people are familiar with. And I want to thank the entire team, because from the moment we got word that morning, Scott and his team were on it. And every vice president that you see in this room, their division touched it, making sure that people were resourced, deployed, serving the needs of the students, responding, communicating. It's been an interesting 2 weeks. And I forget what, it was on a Monday or something. It's like, are you serious? That's what we get on the first day of the week as we get this close to finals, but it comes with the territory. Our student affairs unit oversees the operations, the day-to-day operations of our residence hall and all student affair activities. We have over, how many hundreds of clubs do we have? Over 150 clubs and organizations that students participate in across any domain. So those fall in there. They handle conduct. They handle all of the things related to student affairs. So they're active 24/7. They also oversee health, the health center and UPD, psychological wellness. So that keeps them busy. The athletic wellness and recreation center. And which one? The Children's Center, absolutely. And then I look to HRDI, which Tahina and her team head up. None of this happens without people. And so making sure that we are in compliance with all of the state regulations. And just in case you didn't know and weren't aware, New York State has some of the most voluminous kinds of policies and regs around many things, but certainly in higher education. Thorough. There you go. So we spend a lot of time making sure that every new thing always affects something else. No policy lives in isolation. And so the implications trickle out, and sometimes you don't find out about them until you go astray of them. So it's a constant set of activities for human resources. And then our provost, who leads up our unit on academic affairs, is actively engaged in leading a critical review of our curriculum and our services. I mean, just to give you an idea, and I'm teeing this all up for Greg to get down there on business. But last year, as part of our initial review, we offer more than almost 4,000 sections of courses in the course of a year. 4,000. We found that almost how many percent? 11 to 12%? 13% of the classes were not full. In terms, they were not paying for themselves. And yes.
13% had one student.
See? And so when we talk about our budget, we're looking internally to see what we're doing and what needs to be done. And then I'm pretty sure Shelley in marketing and communications, who have driven much of this last year as we created the document that houses our new strategic plan 25 to 28, which was a phenomenal opportunity. 1,250 people participated in the development year. We completed the whole thing in 10 months. We launched it on time this past fall. We're 1 year into implementation. And so it's phenomenal work. If you haven't received more than one copy in the bookmark, ask for them. We still have some around. It's on the website. And the thing we're doing with ours, that I've been in higher ed for over 30 years, it is truly a document that we use. We've invested in implementation as much as we invested in development, because most things fail at implementation, not at design. And we're following through to make sure the things that we said we were going to do, we're striving to do them, and to make sure that if there's an adjustment that needs to be made, we're doing it. But we have 30 objectives that are housed in 5 strategic goals around 2 pillars: academic success and being a value to the region and beyond, and 1 ultimate mission, and that is to create the ideal student experience that enables folks to thrive when they come here. Everything harnessed on that, it feels to me like the right thing to do. And this is all, in support of our academic mission, our mission to the community and beyond. On that, I think I touched on each president, again, each vice president. They're a phenomenal team. The new members, you were onboarded by Shelley. You have additional communications with her. So we thank everybody for doing that. I will be happy to answer questions, but Mr. Chair, I'm going to turn it back to you so we can move on, and then happy to answer questions either now or after.
My question is, how could there possibly be anything more? There's so many moving parts, and you so articulately describe and touch on them. And what we really have is tremendous leadership, and not just granular, but in the big picture as well. And it exemplifies the institution publicly and internally, and it's great. And it's a beginning, I think you're really in stride now.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious. And it's been the New Paltz 40 years plus, not like Ron, like, 50 plus, but I've been around for a while and the trajectory is amazing and it continues and you're to be applauded. And I thank you sincerely. It's just tremendous. And it's, and it, like I say, it imbues everybody. Leadership, it makes people more enthusiastic, sets a high standard, and we've got to go there. And you'll enjoy it because the fruit is the students and the student experience and what'll be the next generation and generation after that. I'll be long gone, but things will continue on that same trajectory, God willing. And it's because of leadership like this and hard work. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Any questions? No. Okay. Any questions? Hello. So now, Greg, MONEY makes the world go round, right? So how we doing? I know I already got a little bit of the analysis from President Wheeler, but let me hear a little more. Or us hear a little more.
All right, so I'm going to go through a little bit of background again, just like, and try not to repeat the president too much. And Eli, you guys sort of set this up to give a little bit landscape, just for context. And we'll do a budget update, just to kind of what's going on with 25-26. There's some insight I would like to share, just to illustrate some of the stuff we'll talk about, the cost pressures, the costs been going up, and then how the flat revenue or the tuition rates and impact. And
I'm just going to interrupt. Greg brings a private institutional experience to the public university, which is refreshing in a way. And so I just wanted to say that you have a new perspective, truly, and it's part of its learning, but it's also bringing your experience and knowledge and expertise to us. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And I'm of course new to the state space, but I do have 17 years, going on 17 years. And I've seen some things here my first, months. And someone tried to tell me I've been here 3 months. Not quite, I think you're down there. Not quite true, but, and it's been impressive, the consistency, and I'll show what I'm talking about there. And then there's some opportunities both on the efficiency expense side, but also certainly on the student enrollment side. And that's what we have to get excited about and focus on as well. We'll go through just a couple of things on initial assessment, and then just 2 points on sort of what's next in the planning process. And so without further ado, I'll get into it. All right, oops. Guess you guys got to follow along on the screen. Let's see here. There we go. All right. I got a pointer to try to help. I won't bounce it around to cause too many problems here. Again, current landscape. Again, we're a focused campus. And what that means is name of the game is getting to a balanced budget by 28-29. And we're not alone. There's other SUNY campuses that are a focused campus. But that's balanced budget is a high priority. It essentially means the expenses can't be greater than your revenues that you're bringing. Just a little bit of background on our state support, 20 to 25%. It goes back and forth. This year is around 23. This past year about 23%. Direct operating support we get from the state. SUNY New Paltz receives. They do also contribute with all the construction projects. I know we do have quite the list of wish list items, but so that's a big dollar item that's contributed. President mentioned state budget approval, something we're waiting on right now. I think they're making progress, but waiting on what our appropriation amount is and what the capital projects will be next year. None of that's new. And so that's just sort of just to get a little bit of background, new to me, but it's not new to anyone else in this room. Of course, union negotiations are underway as well. So that's another thing that we don't have control over. Nothing new here. Just a little bit of background on the New Paltz side. Again, tuition rates, Eli mentioned, it's not in our control. It's been over a decade for sure that last time they've been increased. And so that's been set. The other thing, the SUNY only allows us to bill up to a full-time rate of 12 credit hours. And so anything above that a student may take above 12 credit hours, they're allowed to do that. But we can't charge them tuition rates. We still teach the courses. The provost mentions that we have, again, some opportunities with the unfilled classrooms, but and we're still running these courses. So can't charge the rates. I do have a slide that I'm going to show to just kind of quantify what that could look like. If we were able to charge a little bit of that, I think we all agree we want the value proposition makes this place so great. But there could be an in-between place where we could get a little bit of that back on the form of revenue. So I'll show you that. Enrollment is very stable at SUNY New Paltz. In fact, I've been around and it's one of the most stable I've seen in my career. We're depending how you count the students, 6,600 full-time, over 7,000 consistently overall. Very strong outcomes. President mentioned 1,900 graduates, super impressive. New student enrollments where really I see the consistency. It's flat, and so there's opportunity. Undergrad's been around 1,100 consistently for the past 5-6 years. The graduates have actually climbed up a little bit, so some progress has been made there. So we'll have a slide at the very end just to show some opportunity and I'll navigate what to look at on that. Cost to operate. That's not been flat, as we all know. And so I do have a couple slides just to illustrate that, just so you all know what we're up against. But that's been going up annually. And the one thing I wanted to mention too, just in this group is that there's been some form of a budget deficit going back at least 10 years. And so we looked at, there's different funds available at the campus, but there's been some form, especially the general operating, which is where we get most of our support from the state, is operating at a deficit since 2015. So none of that's new.
Yes, Eleanor, yeah.
This is lamentable. I think we're in serious trouble financially. Where are we getting the money? If this were my family budget, I would be weeping.
Well, let us get through it and you'll see where.
And then I have some Kleenex.
Well, how are we going to?
We've got a plan.
I'm okay with it. I'm just doing my part, but, Eleanor, sorry, this is, I have my own view on these, but Greg will continue.
How are we going to overcome the problem of deficit money?
Well, that's where it's in there.
Yeah, well, there's no magic wand, but there's a plan.
Yeah, there's no, and we'll have to
The
go.
cash reserves, huh? So you could use those then. Cash reserves can be used.
We're going to talk about that too, Ellen.
It's on the list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go through the slides first.
Yeah, we'll have a chance for questions for sure. So what's happening this year, just to give you an idea this year. So we talked about sort of the landscape. This year's no different. We've had slowed some of our expense increases to what we've been able to do. But again, some of that's out of our control, negotiated rates and all that stuff. But it's about the same situation as prior year. This year is going to end up being about the same. Level enrollment, tuition rates haven't changed, costs have gone up. Enrollment remains stable. I can't emphasize that enough. So we're doing the thing that folks came here to come to New Paltz for, graduate. Our cash reserves are in a solid in place, remain in a good shape there. So I just wanted this group also to know that as well. But they are dwindling, year over year too. So that again, so the focus will be as we take shape of the deficit, that'll solve itself. Let's give you three sort of components. And again, the president mentioned Eli mentioned the importance of our enrollment and revenue. In fact, we get and also we'll talk about the expenses, but we get about 70% of our overall revenue in the form of tuition, fees, and dorm charges. The rest of it is state support, which like I told you is around 25%. Last year was about 23 million. And the other is what we'll call indirect. It's sort of a hodgepodge of things. There's some foundation support in there. There's sort of a payback from the state. Again, we charge our fee accounts. They go up to the state and they come back to us in different form. Sponsored research, things like that is in there. And then the enrollment is just to show you a little bit. Our mix hasn't changed a whole lot. It's a little bit more graduates than we've had in the past, but 673 graduate students, 5,900 in undergraduate. That's under the hood a little bit on the mix. Every year we set up targets and revenue is projected based on some of those targets as well. This past fall, of course, the team is working on this upcoming fall. We were at a target that we set was 6,765 is full time. We actually came in at 6,500. So difference about 180. I talked about this, I think, in my first meeting a couple months ago. The revenue impact wasn't all because of that. Some of it's timing, some of it's some other things. But the revenue impact versus what we targeted about 105. And right now, this is still have weeks left in the year, but depending on when some things can come in, we're forecasting about 101 million, so a miss of about $4 million. When we have deficits on the revenue side, we have to turn to our expenses, right? So most of our expenses, 80% of our expenses is compensation. So that's one of the big levers that we look at. We look at things that, how can we be more efficient with our teams? How can we be more efficient with our classrooms? And the work's getting, we started last year and the work's getting done in that area. But one of the main levers is to look at compensation and in our path to balance the budget. I did want the group to know that our compensation, again, they said it's about 80%, or excuse me, our total expense about 80% compensation. Around 22 million is everything else. These are contracted services, go to facilities and other form of academic and student support. This isn't a whole lot different than last year. Next couple of slides, I just want to call out what sort of revenue we're kind of walking away from. Again, this isn't, SUNY New Paltz has no control over what we're allowed to charge, credits to. So anything over 12 credit hours, we are not allowed to charge. But just to give you an idea what that is, annual basis, so 16,000 credits taught at no additional cost. This was just for the fall, by the way, last year. That could result in about $8 to $9 million in annualized tuition value that is given away for free. And we want to
mean over 12 hours or over 15 hours?
Anything over 12 hours. That's right. So that's sort of the biggest. I did an example down below, like if we went anything over 16 hours, what that could look like in additional revenue. And that's about $2 million. So if we, did give, 4 credit hours for free, essentially, which I think is a good value for the students as well.
Yeah. There's a question.
But
just because I'm new. So if we're charging students, do we charge also by the semester or by the credit? Like, I'm a little confused at the 12 credits.
Yeah, 12 credits per semester. Yep.
So if someone's taking full-time and they're paying for the semester, they can take as many credits as they want.
Yes.
But if I take 12 and Danielle takes 15, we get charged the same amount per semester?
Correct.
Yes. 100%.
So then I don't understand where the difference is with the 12 to the 15.
Because we have to teach the courses, which means the expenses still baked in.
The expenses.
The number of people that are taking up seats or taking courses, we still have to cover it.
So our semester charge is based on 12 credit hours?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, then now I get it. Okay, now I get it. Okay.
Less than that, you get charged less than that.
Okay.
Correct me, but you need a certain amount of credits to graduate. And in theory, if you really wanted to, you could do it in 3.5 years. if you took more credits every time. And then
You're still
you pay.
paying that semester, you're paying 7 semesters.
Could be.
Could
Theory.
Interesting. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Thank you.
We're just, again, we want to keep the value proposition, but again, this could just be an opportunity. Again, we have no control over of that. 17% of our students take advantage of the additional credits. All right, I'm going to show you a couple charts, and I know. But this next one is just, again, just to illustrate the cost pressures and against the tuition and fee revenue, which has been flat. We talked about that. Actually, it's actually slightly eroding over time because we're having to add a few more discounts and scholarships, and I'll get in, that's another slide as well. But just to give you an idea from left to right, 22, 23 to 2025, 26. The cost, this is our compensation. I just took a look at our compensation, total compensation. This is full-time, part-time, it's temporary workers as well, non-instruction, instruction. It costs us about $11,000 per student. So this is an average on a per student basis. And then in 25, 26, it's up to 13. So that cost has gone up. If you just look at the 4-year period, it's about 18%. On an annual basis, it counts about 4% per year. Pretty reasonable increase, but it's about 4% increase. But the tuition per student has not gone that same direction. So that's, again, I just wanted to illustrate that situation. The tuition fees per student, again, this is net of any discounts. Our scholarships internal scholarships that we've given was about $9,800. Doesn't include dorm costs and things like that, but just the tuition and fees. And then today it's about $9,100. So again, it's going down about 2% per year on an annual basis. Again, just based on the courses that student takes, the credits that they're taking, and the program mix and all that good stuff. I just wanted to again show this is one way to look at it, just for illustration. The gap in that has grown to about 30%. So
Julie raised your hand.
Question.
From Julie.
Okay.
I mean, I put my hand back down because I think I know the answer, but
You're good.
my question was going to be, I thought the tuition was staying steady from the state, but it seems like it's going down. But I think this is nuanced based on selections that students make.
Yes, exactly right. It's the effective rate. You nailed it. It's exactly right. Based on their mix of students. This is the whole enchilada of the campus that we're looking at here on an average basis.
That's graduate and undergraduate, right?
That's right. Yep. Don't click the wrong button. Okay. And then I just wanted, again, remember the state support's about 25%. We told you earlier. And so this gap is, okay. Again, I just wanted to show you one other example. Again, this is the last, no, there's one more example. Then that's it. I'll make pressures examples. This is just, again, not picking on this or anything, but it's negotiated adjunct pay escalation, just for illustration. In 2022, 2023, it was around $3,500. This is undergrad standard rate, 3 credit hour. It's just a standard. There's other rates. Today it's 4,500, and you can see the year over year there was about 13%. Coming off 14% increase the year before that, and then next year it's going to be up to 22% increase. So again, we're up against that. I just want everyone to, so you're aware, and it's about a 10% annual increase. So we got to continue to look within as we navigate through this. I think it's the point, and those pressures aren't going to go away.
Are you proposing that you diminish the pay of the adjunct?
We can't.
I would say not.
Yeah.
They're not paid enough, I would say.
Yeah, we're not advocating that, and we can't anyways. All right, last slide on this, but it's not really a cost pressure. I call it that. It's more of an enrollment cost. This is the internal scholarships that we offer. The foundation offers scholarships as well. just the point here is as a percentage of our revenue that we bring in, it's grown every year to get around the same amount of students. And so we're going to talk about, another opportunity here that we're going to look at for scholarship use. The one thing that this is about, it's about 3.8 million in 2022, 2023. It's grown by the time this year's over about 5.4. And this is all merit-based scholarships. And so, President's Directive, and we're also looking at this. There's a group of students every single semester that is need-based, and they have a gap in their funding. It's about $5,000, 300 or so students every single semester. And we're missing out on, you're going to see, we have a whole lot of applications, and they all have needs. I'm sure some of those students have needs. And we offer no need-based scholarships currently. And so that's one thing is reappropriate some of this and maybe find some additional funds to reappropriate there. But I put a note here just that we're going to explore need-based award scholarships in this cycle. One that enrollment's working on right now. Just, I guess that's a brief assessment. I try to stick with the colors. Blue here. It's going to take 3 years. Well, it's going to take us 3 years. I just think it illustrates that the cost pressures are real. And there is real-time headwinds against achieving a balanced budget. But one opportunity that is sort of, I'm going to show at the very end here, is the enrollment funnel. And we'll take a look at just the undergrad enrollment. Freshmen, just the amount of volume and the consistency there presents a real opportunity. I'll show you that. And then one thing when the president mentioned, we're looking within each division. In my time here, we have opportunity for efficiencies and points of optimization. And so we're going to work towards that in this planning cycle.
Does that simply mean that every classroom is full?
That's one of them for sure. Yep.
Yes.
Sections run it to pay for themselves.
Yes. And then obviously
another question, Ron.
Wait till finish.
Okay. And then again, just the forefront, the president mentioned this, is the ideal student experience. So as we're doing all these things in this planning cycle, we've got to pull along the strategic plan along with that and make sure that we're any decision we make budgetarily supports that. So we're going to look at ways to optimize both on the revenue side and on the expense side. But it's not just one or the other. It's simply both. Foundation obviously is part of that. Okay, last slide. This is the most detailed slide I'll ever show in this group. But this is a detailed look. I wanted to do my analysis myself on what the funnel is, and what the funnel simply means is it's the enrollment cycle from the students from when they were prospects to applicants to deposits. It's everything leading up to some student stay to getting them in class. And so it's mathematical, lot going on here, but I just wanted to point to, I about fell in my chair, the amount of registrations. We're New Paltz, SUNY New Paltz, this is just a freshman, has been super consistent. I just went back 5 years, about 1,100 students, just consistently. The one thing that's happened since 2021 is the interest in the applications and even deposits have gone up. And so,
read those numbers off. They're a little bit hard to read.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good. Okay. So just to give you this on the application front, I think that might be the easiest one to get context. It's gone from 12,400 to 21, up to about 18,000. We talked about that last year. It's going to be about the same this year. And it's still resulting in about 1,100 students. And what got me real excited is that we see that just the registration, I looked at things on an employee basis per admissions employee basis, and that production has been about the same. And so one thing I've advised the president and enrollment management is to, this is an opportunity potentially for some more resources because we have the volume and the conversions have been consistent on a per employee basis, we have an opportunity to add some resources here to gain some additional registrations. We do have a little bit of capacity and on the undergrad freshman side with our housing. So that's the one thing that I think I called it out here: consistent and then opportunity. So
Does that just mean register more?
what's that?
Does that just mean register more?
Register more?
The application.
More hands to do the work.
So I just want to quote and Stella can correct me on that. It means where our sweet spot is the yield. And putting the right people in
Seems the
place
same
to produce
percentage of
the
yield, but it looks like there's increase in
if you increase applications and keep the same number of people going in, you're losing people and you're not yielding.
Yeah.
And we have to yield. And so I just want to throw this in because this gets to Eleanor's point as Greg gets ready to tie up. We did another analysis looking at this, and Eleanor, to fix the deficit on an annualized basis, we would need about 100 new graduate students, either retained or new, every year, or 150 undergraduates. I say, 100 graduates or 150. That's not a lot of people. That's in the yield. But even if you fix the gap, it doesn't fix the problem. And the problem started a decade ago, where we didn't do these analyses and monitor this and make sure that you weren't running 17% of your class is not making money, that you weren't, I mean, there are things that you have to do to stop the bleeding. And that's where we are now and why I remain optimistic, because the gap just to close the annual budget isn't super great. But if we only do that, we'll be right back here again. And so the strategic plan has at its core plumbing and electricity, not facade. If you're building a house and you don't do the plumbing and electricity right, you put all the beautiful stuff on the outside, the house is, I wasn't going to say the word, it's that. You got it, right? So we have to fix the internal workings as well. And this is why data and our ability to harness the power of data, not data driven, but data informed, and looking at the ugly side. You don't want to know your plumbing's bad and it's going to cost you $70,000 to fix it. But if you don't, it's going to cost you way more than that. And that's where we are right now. And so I thank the entire team. Stella, you were about to say something about this.
I just wanted to focus on the yield because the reason why we're so stubbornly in that same trajectory where we're flat is there's only so much work each recruiter can do. There's only so many schools they can visit. Right. So there's a limit to each, and you have to cultivate all of those from the time they're a prospect to the time the application goes in, emails, phone calls, to really see some production. So the production is flat because we've had 4 undergraduate recruiters to cover our largest area, which is New York City, Long Island, Rockland. And we do get a good amount from New Jersey as well.
In the business world, they say you have to spend money to make money. Yeah, Ron.
Greg, the 13% that the provost talked about, will that reflect on the cost side of the sheet or on the revenue side of the sheet?
Cost.
Cost.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it will lower our cost.
We lower our cost. We become more efficient.
Okay. Second question, for the next possibly 3 years, it seems that our structure, 23% from the state, 70% from tuition, has a built-in deficit, which I think over the next 3 years, we're looking to correct by increasing yield, cutting down on cost, and getting some balance there. Is that kind of the direction which you're going?
You nailed it.
Okay.
There's no other alternative.
No, I just want to make sure that I was saying it correctly.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's why, for me, the analysis looking at everyone who took more than 12 credits and everyone who took more than 16 credits becomes important. Because we can't make that decision on the campus. And I know I don't want any burden on people. But what we also know, SUNY New Paltz, it tends to be an elite drawer. Am I correct? Am I wrong? We are an elite drawer amongst the comprehensives, meaning that what percentage of our students don't even fill out FAFSA because maybe they don't have the same need. SUNY has always drawn in a more elite group of students. And could we do more if there was a group of students, if like that number that Greg was showing, anybody who took more than 16 credits, paid for those credits above, could net us another 2 million a year, which could be reintroduced to speed up our success without really hurting anybody.
No, because they're getting such value.
Let me ask one last question. Is the cap on 12% state education law?
Yes.
SUNY policy? State education law?
The 12 credit.
I think the 12 credits is NICED. Yeah, I think it's state ed.
State ed.
I believe so, but
State ed policy or state ed?
local policy.
So it's state ed law, which means that if you found enough sympathetic elected officials to increase that number by some amount, it would have an impact on being able to charge more for the credits that the students are taking.
So let me just I'll put it differently. Without changing the tuition of $7,080 a year, but just cutting off where they're free credits.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't have to increase the tuition.
Right, yeah.
You would just say after 15 credits, you have to pay for those credits.
That's a good idea.
It's still very good value because it's still being underwritten big time. But the other side is if you,
right,
if you're taking 16 hours, you can't work a part-time job. And, so there's not so simple, but it's, the numbers are the numbers and without a tuition increase, and you can maximize every course and every classroom, but you're still hit that wall. That's all you can do.
And let me just throw in one other caveat here. Were you to start to do something that brings in more revenue, Greg talked about the discount rate and the scholarships. You could take the delta of money that you now are earning and redeploy it to students who have need at 16 credits as scholarships, because now you have more money to work with. So it doesn't mean, but then there are certain students who don't really have the need but benefit from it. That's great. But we are in a situation where we are a business that cannot set the price of its product. We don't negotiate the contracts for the people who work here. And we are pretty good at the product that we do. We have a high nationally acceptable rate of completion. We have students who go and do phenomenal things. So the product is there. And the key for us as an institution looking forward is, as Grace said, how do you optimize this to make it work? And it can be done, but it cannot be done without the institution looking inside and saying, what's in our control? And that's where we are, using the information to drive critical decisions to help us do the work while also advocating on the outside. That would be great, but I can't wait for the law to change, because if I do, then we're going to keep going down this path by doing nothing.
Okay, should we throw this out? So the better we do, the less help we need from the state.
It could be. It could be. That's right. I mean, the more efficient we are, the more strategic we are, the better we do this, hitting our numbers, deploying, to your point, investing, you have to break some eggs to make a cake.
Yeah, but it should be rewarded, but not necessarily.
We would love to, I would love an incentive-based model, but that's a whole different discussion. At the very least, SUNY New Paltz is on a trajectory. I think being called out as a focus campus forced the discussion. Now that we're in it to win it, and having a model of success that gets us there in 3 years, knowing how it is possible, is the first step. And then the implementation is the real work.
Data analysis and now
action.
I have a question, might be more an HR question, but I have an HR background, so I don't want to put anybody on the spot. But you said 80% of the expense comes from compensation. How many unions do we have? how many FTEs do we have? And what percentage of our employees are union members? And if you don't know all that off the top of your head, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know every single one of those numbers off the top of my head. But we have 6 unions.
6, okay.
And all but about 45 people are unionized.
Out of 1,023.
FTEs,
About 23, 1,023.
FTE, 1,000.
And that there are times, obviously cyclically, where that number shifts.
Sure.
For temporary employment and things like that. So we have that, and then and all of the contracts are not negotiated here locally. They are negotiated through the governor's office and employee relations at the state level.
Okay.
SUNY's represented at that table. But we have, and you'll know this, we have pattern bargaining, which means that the state tends to favor bargaining all at the same time with all of the unions of the state. And then as one goes, they set the trend for how the state will negotiate packages for others. So we have right now, all the contracts are up and currently being negotiated.
Okay, great. You did know all the numbers. And the adjuncts are part of those numbers?
Yes.
They're in a union and
Yes.
they're part of that?
Yes, they are still part of that, although they're, and this goes back to something that Eleanor raised. They are in the union, and their contractual raises are also negotiated within the same contract, so they're not separated or called out differently. Because it's contractual, the raises travel, things like longevity payments travel after you have a certain amount of, and the way in which we give notice for employment changes depending on your years of service, even
Okay.
in that category.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Point out, technically, all of our employees are with unions, are represented by unions, but they're not necessarily union members.
Correct.
Just to be clear.
Yes, that's right. Yes, they're
So they're
all,
not paying dues,
it's
so they do get the
agency,
benefits.
it's
Most of the
agency
benefits.
shop. It's agency shop. They can opt not to pay into a dues structure, but they receive the same type of benefits and representation by the union.
And it's the entire state. These are state contracts.
Yes, these are all state contracts.
New Paltz contracts.
No, they're not just New Falls
It's
contracts.
a big state.
Yeah, no, I just to wrap my head around it a little bit. Thank you, I appreciate it.
So we took him off. Greg, last slide. and then-
Okay, sorry.
Oh, I thought we were at the last one, I'm sorry.
It's good. Yeah, so just so that everyone, like sort of next steps, we're right in the middle of planning, and really going on through the summer, but what we're gonna be doing next is some more deep work with the departments, kind of department level reviews. We're gonna look at cost and versus contribution. And not just to the campus, but the mission and obviously the strategic plan. So do that with each sort of department and programs. And then did anything, but I can't. But anyways, analysis and model building, very boring. But it's in the targeted areas that we were looking to optimize, which is the funnel. Boring but exciting. How about that? Cash revenue, it's a big thing. The scholarship impact and instruction, student-facing support, and back office. So we're gonna hit every department. And then that is it. View of the campus.
Wow. Well, and it was a lot of information, all good, right? Actually, bless you, very objective. And you really bring a good, fresh, new analysis to everything. It's really great to hear. And can't take care of a problem unless you identify it. So you identify the problem and then you come up with a solution. And I see you're hard at work. And thank you very much. Does anybody else have any more questions? I'll go back to what I think is, I'm just, how would I say, stunned that tuition hasn't increased at all. And if it's hardship to pay tuition, then, then I'd just say the campaign, scholarships. And I personally, I want my scholarships to be for need. Not, I say the smart people do fine, but people have financial need. That's where I like to focus, frankly. I was there. And I think you get more bang for your buck. And that's my own philosophy, but it doesn't have to be yours. but always keep in mind, that first step up is really important. You're going to get old too, and you're going to need these young people to help you and make things better for you. So it's don't be selfish, investing in your future and the future of your community, and you get to give back all at once. So thank you. So MONEY, the state budget, I thought it was I heard last night on the news, oh, they're just going to make their deal. Yeah, right. Okay. It's drip, 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 water torture. But I hope that, we're well represented one way or the other. And I don't mean just New Paltz, I mean SUNY in general. Great investment for the future. Okay, well, thank you very much. Let's see.
I couldn't.
Stella, I'm going to put you on the
I
spot.
can't see hands up there. Was there no question?
Is there a question? Is there a hand moving?
No.
Okay. Stella, how are we doing?
We're right on track. Yeah, stubbornly flat. So we look like we looked last year. Transfers are a little down though, compared to last year. We're about 20% down.
And nationwide, is the wind in the face blowing at
especially in the Northeast.
Especially here, right?
Yeah, a lot of enrollment challenges, and we're competing against the university centers. I may have said that before in this group, but they are our biggest competition. They take the air out of the room for us. They have many more resources than we do.
I know I'm a SUNY Albany grad also, and I know what goes on up there. And plus
they do.
Albany's in Albany, so they bounce the ball. That's their game. Yeah.
Do we know anybody who has control over the bridges? And so maybe we could
raise tolls. They're coming to New Paltz anyhow, right? So they're paying a way over. What they did, you only pay one way. Maybe they can, pay both ways now again. They can do it. It's just, you don't have to have a toll payment either, right?
Still has some marketing benefit.
Okay. So thank you very much. Alice, you're going to graduate, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So now you're going to be one of those happy faces, right?
I hope so, yeah.
And so the next thing up is really graduation. It's a lot of happy faces, and not just the students, but their families and their friends. They take kvell. That's a Yiddish term. They get to really feel good about themselves, their families, and well deserved. And it's the best time of the year, right? And we just have to have Mother Nature cooperate. So it's a nice, beautiful day. And one way or the other, it certainly will be a beautiful day. So I encourage everybody to attend. It's the 15th, 14th, 15th, 16th. I'll be there on Saturday. And it's just a lot of smiling, happy people. And, how can you be happy? Hang out with happy people. So it's time well spent. And so I would encourage everybody. It's going to be summer, and that means there won't be a meeting till the fall. And Liz will let us know when there's a schedule. And the fall, hope to see everybody. I thank you all for your support and hard work and dedication. And I welcome the new members. It's a great thing. I say it's great for us. It's great for everybody. It's great for the students. It gives our community so much life and vitality to support the institution. So thank you very much. And is there anything else? Any old business, new business?
New business, just in case people don't have anything to do and want to see a women's softball game. We are hosting the tournament, the NCAA first round tournament. Begins at 5 o'clock. That means teams are already out there on the softball field.
Warming up.
It's along 208. Wow. So if you're interested and don't have to rush home right away.
Gotta get my kids here.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll have a great summer. Enjoy yourselves. You'll have a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Happy summer. See you in the fall.
Hi, thank you.
Bye. You guys.
Great. Take care, guys.
Okay.